This is Listening with Franklin Livingston, and our guest is Tricia McMann.
So I would say it's so important. I have a friend, and she was a government employee in White Plains. She's an engineer. Her mom was diagnosed with cancer, and her mom was treated here at a hospital, and she left the job. And I asked her why. She said, I have realized how important sleep is and how important self care is. Health. There's no substitute to them.
Right.
And my sleep was being affected and my health was being affected at this job. So I'm going to do something else. And the earlier we realize, I think that's a great place to be in.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people learn that too late, and then they don't know how to pivot in a way, and then or they just think, well, what it doesn't make any sense at this point in my life, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
So when you traveled with friends or a husband or family?
Family.
Okay.
We started out with a larger group, and it kind of got a little smaller.
Larger, like extended family or friends?
Yeah. I mean, it was about 11 people. It's usually my mother is, has always been big on traveling, and so she puts together these vacations that have my sister, her husband, kids, and we all go, and um, and it's difficult. It's a lot for different what people expectations of vacations
Sure.
and
Yes.
what they want to do. So it's kind of narrowed down to maybe like 7 people now. And my husband, he sometimes goes, but he's not a big traveler anymore.
What does he like to do mostly?
He likes to ride motorcycles, and
You have separate
we
motorcycles?
do have separate motorcycles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I should
Yeah.
join you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine might be very different. but
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
It's not that.
yeah.
It's more like
It's okay. I know. I have an idea of what you're talking about, but yeah, he's just more of having a couple beers with the guys, kind of thing, and I just really enjoy like going other places and learning. And both my sons are like that, so they
like you.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So they enjoy doing that too, and we luckily have the opportunity to do this. But yeah, that's
So do you think traveling, meeting other people, listening to various perspectives has made you a better mom and a better wife?
I think so. I mean, there's a couple ways I could to look at it. The travel.
Sorry,
Oh, cousin.
somebody was talking. Your sentence can begin with a couple of ways
Yeah.
from there.
A couple of ways that I think it's always been beneficial is again, it's the closeness, going somewhere with your family, doing things together, obviously, um, allows you to be, just a nice, close knit family and sharing things together. And,
which is a total different experience. I would agree to that. When you can live in the same house, eat dinners together, but it's very different when you travel abroad because your guards are different, your care is different.
yeah.
We are in a foreign land, so there is something
Yeah.
that's significantly different. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I have right words to express it.
Yeah, and I don't know how you would describe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're not worrying about, all right, who's going to empty the dishwasher? Your concern is just the experience itself that, depending on how good of a traveler you are, it can, lower your stress level and just kind of enjoy. Um, so I think that, helps with being a mom. And I think it helps for my boys to see, how other families live and what they have and what they don't have. So it kind of puts a perspective on, again, other cultures and what, the privileges that they have at home. Kind of sets them straight, not to be entitled or anything to that nature. So that helps. And I think, again, traveling without my husband helps too, because if we're not traveling well together, then nobody's having a good time.
You
So
come back refreshed.
I come back very
Yeah.
refreshed, yes. And I'm sure he does too, because we're all gone. So the house is nice
Yeah,
and
you
quiet.
mean like he stays refreshed or he gets refreshed
I get think he
when
gets,
you're gone?
yes. Well, he gets a lot of quiet time.
She's
How's
gonna watch
that?
this, right?
I I probably tell him not to, but
Okay.
no, of course he. He just, because he can do his thing. Our things don't have to be the same things.
Yeah, yeah. But getting to that maturity level takes some time and it's a journey. So
Yes.
where did it all start? Where did you guys meet from there? Because you were friends before
Yes.
married for 10 years.
We were friends for a long period of time. For a very short period, I was married very young, and that was one of his friends. They were not close friends, so it wasn't, an uncomfortable situation, but that's how I had met him. And so he knew, what I had gone through with this first marriage, which was not good. And so I think it kind of helped, or made like a little bit of a roadmap for us. Again, I mean, I was divorced for 9 years before we even started going out on dates. I would see him here and there, but so I think that helped with the decisions that we made together as a couple, based on, him knowing my past, him knowing what I went through. And he was a much different person than the first person I was married to. So that helped.
In a good way.
In a good way. Absolutely. Yeah. So, but
who was more interested in whom? It's a weird way to ask, but
I think
I knew like that.
that's funny because it kind of went in waves. I would say initially it was him towards me, but then, again, we would go through a period of 9 years running into each other, and he may had a girlfriend at that time. I would have a boyfriend. So we were never.
Who was jealous of the other person's friend, significant other, SO at that point?
I don't think either one. I can't really say that we were jealous, because I don't think either one of us really had a serious relationship through
serious interest to me.
It's what?
Initially serious interest.
Yeah. So it wasn't like there was a threat of saying, "Oh, well, I want to, date him, and he's with so and so, and it's very serious." So it wasn't really like that. So, it's. But I will tell you a funny story, because this kind of goes to his who he is. But I had ran into him again at some point, and he did have a girlfriend. And I remember I was at his apartment. We were hanging out, anything serious, but I had actually made a move on him, and just a kiss, and he blasted off the couch. I've never seen him move that fast.
Because he was scared of his
He's-
then.
Well, he was like, I have a girlfriend. I don't.
Oh, she
cheat."
wasn't there.
She wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's like, I don't cheat on my girlfriends. You have to go home.
Mm.
This is, and
And that enforced the idea, maybe, that, oh my God, he's such a great guy.
Yeah,
He's
well,
not going to cheat on me.
yes.
So that's the guy I should now get married to.
Absolutely. And, and that's who he is. So that's something that I've always will remember. And,
But how did you respond in the moment? To like, oh my God. I'm not
oh,
good
yeah,
enough," or
absolutely. I was horrified. Yeah. I mean, it was embarrassing. And, and you kind of have that ego of, what do you mean you're not, I just made a move on you. How could you reject me?
Mhm.
So, but, you can laugh at it now.
Yeah, sure.
But at the time, it did not feel really good.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see that he didn't cheat on his girlfriends. So it was interesting. It's always a funny story.
Yeah, it is. Great. And so the ceremony wasn't, I'm assuming, religious. Was it religious?
No.
Can't even talk anymore.
No, it wasn't. It was very small. It was amazing. It really was. We did your typical, vows and family, but there was no service in the church. It was in the banquet hall that we had the reception, but it was outside, and so it was nice. It worked out very nice. Yeah.
Who was great at listening? You or your husband?
I don't think either one of us are the greatest listeners. Yeah, if I had to pick, I would probably say I am, but that's because I tend to get more involved in happenings of what's going on. Why is this taking place? Why isn't this taking place? And so I tend to want to talk about things more than he does. So I think in that case, I'm a better listener because I want to talk and work through things. But yeah.
How important is listening in a long-term relationship? Like you guys have been together for the past 23 years.
Yes, married, yes, and together longer, maybe another 4 or 5 years. Yes.
Wow.
But I don't think I haven't learned the the aspect, the good parts of listening, maybe 5-10 years ago. And I couldn't really pinpoint why. I started realizing that listening is a lot better than always talking. But I just think, again, when you can get another perspective on something, it's a good thing. Not everything, but because we're not always right. Even though we can tell ourselves, "Oh, I'm right about something," which is one of the things that my Indian massage guy was talking about, that how important listening was in every situation, in not being right all the time. And he even said, to the point where even if you are right, just say I'm wrong, because that kind of just keeps the peace. Like peace, I'm learning peace is more important than being right. But I think that takes a long time. And it takes a long time with somebody that you can trust, to let your guard down and not always be right. So that's something I think that we've got to the point where we have that ability to not always be right. Yeah.
Did you go back to this gentleman, the massage guy?
I did.
I don't know if I should say massage guy or something.
Well, I started feeling better.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I did. There wasn't any reason to go, but I know I really should.
But you didn't go just only for once. You
No, I went for maybe 5, 6,
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
7 times. And he wrote down something on a piece of paper one time, and it was about that. It was like 4 corners, and every time that you think you're right, like read it, and every box had wrong, 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 wrong. So I still have that to this day in my purse, and I look at it when I'm saying I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I know I really should go back. He was just an amazing force of peacefulness, and
Because he had this wholesome approach to it. So the way I was trying to understand, but the way I understood is, so he didn't only work on the bodies; he was concerned about the body, mind, and soul.
yes.
Right.
In fact, I think that's close to the name of his business.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, how they all work in conjunction.
Yes.
Which is very true.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can feel great physically, but you're not doing okay upstairs. It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't help.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So each time we went there, there was this listening session, and then I'm calling it a listening.
Yeah.
And then
And then it
The-
was the
the massage.
massage, and and then afterwards he would he left, and you just laid there for 20 minutes, and he's like, "What? You don't have to leave right away. Whatever you leave is fine." Yeah, it was just very different than going up the street to your spa and having a 60-minute
yeah.
massage for $150.
Right. Yeah.
So it was just a little bit of everything. I know. You're making me want to go back to
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't really hurt, especially he's not going to charge a standard fee.
no.
Oh, yeah.
But he's gotta be like 94.
Yeah, I was going
now.
to say that. Is he still
Just a
there?
few years ago.
Yeah.
But you would, looking at him, that's what was shocking.
Mm.
I mean, I would say maybe 75 tops
Mm.
by looking at him. And I think, again, that goes back to a lot of how you grew up and,
Mhm. Your belief system, your
right,
values.
right, and where he was from, and just the things he, how differently their, some cultures, their outlook on things is allows you to live, to your 100 years old. Where, I mean, look what happens around us with people that are ill at 35. It's just crazy.
It's a very tough community, and I think I realized just recently after traveling abroad, uh, not here. It's just unless you have money, you can do certain things.
Yeah.
And I have had this the hard way, but even like in filming and all that, people would say, I've seen a lot of posts even where people will say, oh, so and so, without giving names, but they'll say like somebody's trying to film a short film and they can't really pay to the sound person what they should, because then we begin telling them and they are offering this. But why do you even want to make a short if you can't afford to hire a sound guy? Right.
Right.
So when the things are so materialistic, now if a person is wanting to make a short film, they feel led to, they're convinced, they got a script ready or whatever. Now they can't afford to execute it because there's no one willing to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about Uncle Sam.
Right.
Then, of course, they'll be discouraged, depressed, and they might not share what it's going to affect them internally. And once it affects their soul, it's going to affect their mind, and both those things are dysfunctional, and it's going to affect your body too.
Right. Yes.
So I wish we had more people, because this phrase, everybody's got to pay the bills. I know I've got to pay the bills.
Right.
Everyone does that around the world. But as I mentioned earlier, for some people, it doesn't matter. They'll say, I need a space to live. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter you're living in 10th Ave or financial district or Upper West Side
Right.
or outside the city, right?
Yeah.
And those choices then affect the whole fabric of our community,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I learned this year, last year. So I traveled to 3 different countries,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that's the thing. And a lot of people don't get to do or don't get to experience the thing they wish and long for
Yeah.
because their financial status is not up to the mark.
Right.
And
And it's unfortunate too, because if you have somebody with this amazing talent that never gets
yeah,
the
definitely.
opportunity to showcase it,
Mm.
and because of the wherever their financial background is, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
I'll just give you an example. The same movie we talked about. I called a very famous studio here in New York City, and I said, I asked them, I wanted quotes for the master mix of audio, and they said, can't really tell you the master mix, but I can tell you the final touch-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. And they said the final touch-ups will cost you around 50 grand. Now, just imagine if your sound quality is not up to the mark, streaming services will reject you. You won't pass the QC, quality control.
Yeah.
And then you got to have a lot of money to send it to the festivals. Then, if you want to aim for a certain kind of festivals, especially if you're like, oh, I should go for Oscar and all, then you have to have more money.
Yeah.
And it's all very materialistic. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter your story is relevant or not.
Right.
So that's a big sad reality, but it is our reality.
It is reality.
Yeah.
In almost every industry or profession aspect of, and that's what's unfortunate.
Even like you talked about a dentist. I don't know, he was a dental surgeon or what kind of dentist,
Yeah.
but in this world, I know they'll say a crown, right? So they'll have these packages.
Yeah.
Like we have basic and premium and then pro. So they'll say they might not use the language, but they'll say, "Oh, you want a crown that's for 5 grand. The other one we have
Yeah.
is for 15 grand, and this crown is for 25 grand."
Yeah.
Dental work is extremely expensive.
Yes.
So that's the thing where you're like, okay, I know my insurance doesn't cover, so then what?
Yeah.
Okay, just stay without a crown.
Right.
You don't need a crown. So yeah, it's
But that drives me crazy too, though, because like the majority of illnesses come from your mouth and your teeth, and the fact that our health insurance coverages, most people don't have like dental coverage, so they'll blow off the dentist and they'll blow off issues, but that's it in our we should flip-flop that in the sense that that should be the first and foremost that you can obtain is dental insurance, because that's where everything kind of comes out of issues. I just don't understand it.
well, I think it goes back to belief system, and individual belief system becomes a belief system of a household. And when different households, like the way you are very close to your friends, and these households, when they got together, we use the term community or society. And then we have a nation.
Mm-hmm.
But it all goes back to the grassroots level. And when we developed this idea of individualism in the US, and especially the religion got involved, then it was just about you.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to save yourself. So the same spiritual saving, you got to save yourself spiritually, became a defense mechanism for your physical saving.
Right.
You got to save yourself from sorry, dental disease or other disease, no matter, it doesn't matter how you do it.
Yeah.
I I mean, I know a lot of people, my moral beliefs don't align with what they do, but in their mind, they are saving themselves because the word is I'm saving up. That's the phrase we use.
Yeah.
I'm saving up to get my teeth done. I'm saving up to get married. I'm saving up to get my hip replaced. I'm saving up to get my physical done, as an
Yeah.
example, right? Whether or not you buy insurance. But the whole conversation is about me, I.
Mm-hmm.
And then people who cannot do that, you just disassociate with them.
Right.
I saw that in Illinois before Obamacare. Middle class people,
Mm-hmm.
especially single men. And these were mostly white men who had great jobs, great careers, like even served in the military type institutions. And the struggle the most was teeth because they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't afford
Yeah.
dental work, right?
Yeah.
Then Obama came in, and I think by then maybe I had moved to the East Coast, so I don't remember how the dental work is done. But I know dental work is crazy, crazy expensive, and if you can't afford it, all right, it's your problem, not
Right.
mine.
Right. Right. But I mean, insurance companies, they should know this because, you know, the problems, arise from not having proper dental care. And then you go to your insurance company because now you have all these other additional medical issues that you probably wouldn't have had that they have to pay out if they just provided you with a decent like dental coverage to begin with. It's a snowball effect, and I think
I don't know actually who are the decision makers and how smart they are.
yeah, yeah,
You know?
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to argue with a CEO of an insurance company, but I don't think I'd probably go as well as the dental visit
Yeah.
did with with arguing with him. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of our systems are backwards.
Mhm.
That